I look up to in my life is my mom. She's been a principal of a school for 10 years. She's always been someone that I can look to see how should I act in this situation. And
my name is Fabian Saucedo. I am a senior here at Pepperdine, majoring in psychology. And I would say a leader I look up to in my life is my older sister. She's 25, and I think she lives a life where she not only focuses on herself, but also puts other people first and prioritizes other people. So everything she does is just taking care of herself, but also the people around her. She's an example to the students in her class, the people she lives with, us, her family.
My name is Lorenzo. Somebody who I think exemplifies resilience in my life and is an example for that is my mom. She is one of the only Latina plastic surgeons in all of Arizona. She owns her own business. And every day I look up to just how she fought to get a higher education than anybody else in her family, and how she just kind of kept on going and going no matter what when people told her that she couldn't do it. So I live by that.
Those were Pepperdine community members, each sharing about a person in their life that they look up to as a leader who exhibits profound resilience. Welcome to the RISE Roundtable, a podcast by Pepperdine's Resilience Informed Skills Education Program, which seeks to strengthen the well-being of our community. Here, there is no head at the table, everyone has a seat, and every story matters. Join us as community members share their journeys of resilience, celebrating the paths that connect us all. Today, Mentzer, senior at Seaver College and president of the Student Government Association, joins RISE podcast producer, Owen Mirka, at the RISE Roundtable, sharing her resilience journey as a student leader.
Today, I'm here with Mentzer, Senior Business Administration major at Seaver College and current president of Student Government Association, where she serves as an advocate and representative of the student population, plans events, and reforms policies. One of the initiatives she helped make into reality through her role in SGA includes the Pepperdine Mobility Service, a transportation service for students with chronic medical conditions and disabilities to effectively gain access to the university's campus. Myers is also the founder of Myers Made, a business that sells hand-sewn and crafted sweatshirts and is passionate about creativity. She also attended the London Summer International Program and served as a residential advisor in the Paris Olympics International Program, where I personally got to know her. Thank you so much for being here, Myers.
Yes, thank you so much, Owen. I can tell you guys definitely did your research.
Yeah, thank you. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here. This is my first podcast, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Perfect. Thank you. How are midterms coming up for you? Assignments?
Yeah, school is schooling. I'm, glad I'm still enrolled as a student here. Classes are going well. I have some really great professors this semester, and I'm really looking forward to all the different things that I get to learn. Being in one of my capstone classes has been really exciting. A lot of group work, which I personally really enjoy. So it's been nice to get that new feel as a senior.
Perfect. So Myers, you've taken on significant roles including SGA president, the founders of Myers Made, and being an IP resident advisor. What initially drew you to these leadership roles, and how have these positions shaped your personal and professional resilience journey?
Yeah, I would say number one, it just starts with passion, and I would just say I have a passion for people. I've always loved getting to be around people, growing with people, learning with others, and I think that was something I was taught when I was growing up. And so my business, that came about when I was 12 years old. I started sewing and making things, and I've always had the desire of being an entrepreneur. So that's how my business came about, and I was constantly selling at school sporting events and going around the neighborhood selling things, always wanting to interact with people. And SGA was something that just kind of landed in my lap. When I got to Pepperdine, I came from a school that was very, very small back in Texas. I actually graduated with a class of 4 people, so it was quite small. So I didn't have any prior student government experience. And coming to Pepperdine was such a shift of moving away from home, and I really wanted to invest my college years, so I knew within that would be to get involved. And SGA, what they talked about creating change and really getting to meet other people and have the connection of the administration to the student body was something that was really exciting for me. And I was just like, okay, let's do it. Like, I don't have anything to lose. So kind of going in that mindset and starting off freshman year with that desire to just serve and be around others and grow. And I've done it all 4 years, and here I am as student body president. So it's been something very exciting along the way.
That's awesome. How has the change from having 4 people or 5 people in your class graduating to now having over possibly 900 or 1,000 that we're going to be graduating in the spring?
Yeah. Something that I learned from my school was it was too small to have people that you didn't get along with. And so you always had to learn how to be getting along with people. And so I felt like here, when I came here, I was like, oh my goodness, like I have to be friends with every single person. And which Pepperdine is a place where you can be, but not feeling that like forced mentality of, oh no, if I don't get along with these people, then I'll never be able to have a normal college experience. But I haven't really run into that issue with students here at Pepperdine. Everyone is extremely friendly and nice. But I think something that my school prepared me well was because there were so few students, the teachers we got to know really closely. So small classroom size is very familiar to me, and I always take advantage of getting to be with professors and getting to know them as adults and just as mentors. And so I think that's something that prepared me from my school to now that I used within the classroom with professors, and now in my role of getting to be really close with a lot of administrators at our university and getting to have that interpersonal skill with not just students my age, but those that are older and get to have their expertise.
That's awesome. So as SGA president, what do you think it means to be a leader for not just our students, but everybody in our community at Pepperdine?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was recently reading an article, and it was talking about the difference between fixing and helping and then serving. Like, what do those really look like? And I opened up our student government retreat this year with this article, and we just had a discussion over it of when you're helping someone, you kind of can be in a perspective that they need something from you. You're bringing something to the table. Yeah. And when you're fixing something, usually something is broken. So you, again, are needed to be there. There's some point of discussion that you have to be involved in. Whereas when you're serving, there is this mindset of you're coming as a whole person, and it's an equal relationship. So that is something that really has helped my mindset for this year of wanting to be servant leaders and add that word on first. And for me, the most important thing to me is my faith and wanting to live a life centered as Christ did. And so within that is being a servant. And so something to me is being a leader is being a servant. So within that, coming to a situation wholeheartedly, recognizing the people around me and wanting to develop the growth for them. And something I introduced at NSO for our new students was we want to be a community that recognizes there you are, not here I am. And being able to recognize other people and help grow them up is something that I take very seriously within leadership.
Thank you. So as you mentioned, faith is a big part of you and spirituality is a big part of RISE. Mm-hmm. How have you been able to bring in faith into your everyday life that's been different to your leadership life?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that is something that most of the time it can be frightening for a lot of people because faith can be an area of vulnerability. And I think through my experience of learning that maybe why we have certain beliefs that we do can come from a place like faith. But also within that, our faith is something that can help us drive conversations. It should make us want to be more curious. It should make us want to be more kind, more compassionate, better at forgiving people, better at loving people. And so I think leadership qualities that people desire and they seek out come from a basis that I see within faith. So that's something for me that I've really grown. And I think student government in a way has helped me grow those things because I've been faced with decision making and, I'm having to make decisions that are going to affect other people. And so how am I going to do that? I lift up so many different things in prayer, and that is probably the biggest way I would say that I incorporate my faith into my leadership is number one, just praying over our students. That's really important. And even this year, all of our senators and class presidents and my fellow executive board members, my thing that I'm doing every day is praying over them because in whatever religious walk that they're on, it doesn't matter, but just wanting, peace over their life and giving them decision making and unity within our group. That's really important. And uniformity is not unity. And so being sure of knowing not everyone is the same, but we can still have different opinions and have unity within that. So I would probably say prayer would be the biggest way and just being vulnerable within faith. And I'm very grateful that I'm at a university where that is something that is spoken about and that is encouraged.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So in your role as an advocate, you've also pushed for significant reforms like the Pepperdine Mobility Service.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the steps you took to help implement that into our society today here at Pepperdine?
Yeah. So that was brought up during my first year here at Pepperdine. So first year in student government and just kind of learning the difficulties that are present on our campus because of the location where we are. We are quite literally on a hill or a mountain. And so there are significant challenges that develop within just our geographical location. So I grew up with a friend who was diagnosed with a very rare disease, and she was in a wheelchair ever since we were young. And just thinking, I remember standing on campus and thinking, would she ever be able to come visit me and live a day in my life on our campus? And I just didn't feel as though that was something that was really included. And something within student government was we wanted to make sure that Pepperdine was a place of inclusivity for all students, and making it accessible is within that. And kind of speaking with some other people of how can we be creative of making sure that students feel as though they belong. And that was our theme for the year back in 2021 was belonging, and just knowing, hey, if students don't feel as though they can get around our campus, that isolates them.
Yeah.
And so working with the Department of Public Safety at the time and Office of Student Accessibility to come up with ideas that might work. But it wasn't just something that it came up with the idea and then it was like, oh, yes, we can do it. It was a lot of advocacy, and something I always encourage our current students and our current senators is that we want to be passionate enough to push for a yes, but we want to be humble enough to accept for a no. Because sometimes what we think is best is not, and there's so many implications of things that we can't see that our administration or just things of legality that we as students might not be aware of. So eventually I pitched the idea to a couple of departments, and they said, this isn't going to work within our budget, and I had to move on from it. And I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do next. But it was actually the Office of Community Service and Engagement hosted Disability Awareness Week. And within that, there was a day where they had wheelchairs out on campus, and they invited students, administration, and faculty to sit in a wheelchair and practice their daily life, but doing it within a wheelchair. And we had some people that came down and that were pretty much left in tears of the experience and the hardship that was put on them to experience that. And that was a moment of, we need something different. We've got to be using our resources in a better way to make students' lives more accessible on our campus. And so within that is when the idea was brought back up. And then it developed into something so much greater, and learning about budgets and so many things just as a first-year student on campus that really developed. So it was neat to get to see that happen, but it really taught me about it's so important to be creative and the way that we pitch ideas and showing and how action of really making people know we're going to sit and we're going to do this together, that is really what drives results. And you have to use the different elements of rationale, emotion, and how are we as a culture of Pepperdine students going to create an inclusive environment.